Hello, yarn friends and fiber enthusiasts. I'm Cappy, and you're watching the Yarn and I Capi Podcast. This is a podcast that is probably as real as you see. I know a lot of the people that view my podcast like it because I'm down to earth, and I sure don't know any other way to be. So when you come here, you never know exactly what you're going to get, but I think that everybody seems to go away pretty happy. So anyway, get yourself a cup of tea or your favorite beverage and just pull up a chair and watch because we'll have some fun today. Okay, I am going to start out by letting you know where you can find me. I'm a little bit more organized today. I am the Yarn and I on Etsy, Ravelry, and Facebook. And I don't do a lot with Facebook. Probably you will see me most in the Ravelry group. And that's coming up in just a moment. Because the Yarn and I Capi with my last name or my first name, Capi, that's my Ravelry group. And it is also my YouTube name. So if you found me, obviously you know that. Anyway, and then on Instagram, where I'm probably the most accessible, and there I am the yarn and me, M-E at the end instead of I. So, check out all of those different places wherever you are on social media. Give me a like and tell me if you want to subscribe, and I'll be happy to, plug you in. So, all right, that sounded very odd to me, so I apologize. I've got a lot going. I'm leaving tomorrow morning at 7 a.m. From Detroit to fly to Phoenix, and I have my bag packed. I have no projects in it yet, and it is, I think, 4:30 in the afternoon the day before. So I am a little bit on the high-strung end, so I apologize, but I did some drawings, and I wanted to be sure and get those people, let them know that they've won a prize. It's probably going to be a week before I can get them to you, or longer than a week before I can get them out to you, but I wanted you to know you won. And I also want to maybe make some people jealous that they didn't enter, because I'm giving out some really good prizes. So anyway, it's fun. All right, so with talking about the drawings, let's get to it. How about that? I sound like Chris Cuomo on CNN, but anyway. All right, so what I decided to do to sort of, because I'm a bit behind and I feel like I've been so busy that I haven't gotten back with you or gotten the opportunity to podcast as much, I decided that for the first 4 months of the year, I was going to give a skein of yarn away to one person per month. So I have 4 skeins here. And where I did my drawing was from the Whatever Makes You Happy thread. And so the first person to win a prize, and a lot of these I think are new subscribers, so that's really nice that it's going to, I think, some mostly newer people. So, all right, well, number 1 is Mo's Crochet, and that's M-O. I'm assuming her nickname is Mo. And so Mo is a crocheter. She's a beautiful crocheter. I'm just in awe of her crocheting ability. And so she lives in Des Moines, Iowa. I looked that up. Anyway, so Mo, you are going to get this beautiful skein of yarn. It is not one of mine. It is a skein of yarn that I traded for, and I want to say don't quote me. It is a sparkle, so it's probably 70% merino, superwash merino. It's probably 20 nylon, and then the 5 of the stellina. But you can't really make out all the sparkles, but it's very pretty. And I did it because, to me, it has a bit of the green in it, and you were my January person that I chose. So this kind of looks like it's, to me, finishing up with Christmas and moving to the new year. So anyway, this skein of yarn is yours. And what I'm going to ask you to do, and everybody else that's won, is please shoot me a message giving me your name, your first name, last name, address, and I will get this out to you as soon as I get back from Arizona, which will be around the 17th. I'm coming back the 17th, next Friday. So I fly out on this Friday, come back next Friday. So anyway, this is yours. Okay, the second winner for February, that is Beth, and she is Round and Round I Go on Ravelry, and Beth lives in Cincinnati, Ohio, so I was just through Cincinnati twice last week, just driving through. But anyway, all right, the next skein of yarn I have for Beth is this one, and this one does have a tag on it. It is Haute Knit Yarns, and it's another one that I traded. And let's see, this is her Pampered Sock, 435 yards, 100 grams, and it is, merino cashmere nylon. So this is a nice skein of yarn for you. Anyway, so that is Beth's. And number 3 is getting a little bit of the Irish, because that was March. And Marlisha of Penhook and Needles, she's Lady Fernico of Penhook and Needles, had gifted me this for a podcast prize, this lovely skein of Leprechaun. And so this is yours. And let's see, it says it's fingering sock and 437 yards. And this is 100% BFL. And so it looks like you want to hand wash it in cold and dry it flat. Okay, so this is your March skein. Okay? And then the last person is also a new person to me, at least. I don't think I've seen your name, but I'm not real active in the other groups. I just don't have time. I wish I did. But anyway, it's Jodidiah on Ravelry. And it says her name is Jody. So welcome, Jody. And welcome, Mo. I should say welcome all of you guys. But I picked something for you that to me kind of is sort of like getting ready for spring. So, and this is one of my dyed yarns, and it is called Rhinebeck Memories, because there is this beautiful tree in Rhinebeck that everybody kind of sits under and has their lunch, and it's a beautiful, beautiful tree. And this is what all of the weekend that I've only been there once, but the weekend I was there, the tree was already turned, and it was a beautiful maple tree, and it was these colors. So anyway, so Jody, this is yours. All right. And I also did an April shoppers drawing, and I had 4 people who purchased from my shop. And I think I mentioned on the last podcast, I had decided that I was going to give everybody a little ticket when they make a purchase. And then I was going to draw someone out of those tickets. So I had 4 tickets, and I didn't even touch them. Brian My husband, I mixed them all up. I didn't look. I just mixed them. He chose one, and it is Margaret. Margaret is the Fiber Hermit on Ravelry, and congratulations, Margaret. And what I'm going to do for, at least for this shopper's drawing and probably the next few, is I'm going to give you a choice. So you can have 30% off of a single item or a skein of yarn in my shop, or you can have a $10 shop credit, or you can have up to a $6 Ravelry pattern. So I tried to think about all the things that, would fit into everybody's life that, maybe there's a pattern you've been drooling over or something. So, Margaret, I know you know how to find me, and I would like to have your choice, and then give me if I need to send something to you, which obviously I will now that I look at most of the choices there. So I will get that out to you when I get back. Okay, so May is already in motion, and I'm going to do the same thing for May. So if you purchase something from the shop, just write down podcast viewer. I will take care of whatever discounts I can give you, and we will go from there, and you will be in the drawing and hopefully have a chance to win something next month. So, all right. Let's see. All right. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do before I stop talking, but I want you to know about this, so I'm going to go into this. All right. I'm good friends with Marlisha and Talia of the Pen, Hook, and Needles podcast, and so you know that I'm kind of co-hosting the Tea and Tail shawl for the entire year. So I'm doing that, but I wanted to come up with something that was my own along. And in doing that, I wanted to find something that was totally me, but I wanted it to fit in with the other podcasters that I tend to frequent. There are a lot of podcasters out there that I will catch here and there, but there's a group of about 5, I think, 4 or 5 that I watch most of the time. And so they are, I'm going to tell you who they are because I wrote them down here. Okay, the first one is Laura Concert, and she is the Crocheting Whovian. And she has, I through talking or listening to Marlisha and then hearing about, her through Laura, I've now started watching The Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, and that's Deborah. Hi, Deborah. I don't know if you've ever watched my podcast, but I think your podcast, I sent a message to her the first time I watched her podcast, and I loved it because she is a physicist. And yeah, look at the smile on my face. She likes science, anything sciencey. She's into that. She mentioned something about math the one day that I was, one of the episodes I watched, and that's totally my thing because I was a college math tutor. And so, and it's like, oh, I know what she's talking about when she talks about these science things and that kind of stuff. So it's really cool. So if you haven't checked out her podcast, you have to. She is also, I find, very down to earth. And those tend to be the people that I gravitate towards, is not pretentious, just who you are, and that's it. So anyway, all right, and so I'll tell you in a minute why I've chosen all these. Okay, so then yes, and never mind, disregard that. Okay, I chose Crocheting Hoovian and The Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, because they are doing a knit along, crochet along, loom along, and that is, they're doing creature feature. So that's going to go along with the along that I'm going to tell you about in a minute. Okay. And then I really liked Deborah. She has her own craft along. I don't know what she's calling it, but basically it's Kidder, Getter, Done. And I thought that was so cool. Anyway, so in hers, it's any kit that you have laying around. Doesn't matter what it is, just get it out and get her done. And I thought that was so cool, because who doesn't have, something sitting around that needs to be worked on or finished and get it out of here or whatever. So I thought that was really cool. The other podcast that I am pretty fond of, that is Undead Heidi, and she has the Undead Yarn podcast. Hi, Heidi. Anyway, hers, and I miss seeing you, Heidi. I didn't get to DFW this year, and I was just so sad. I was so sad I missed all my friends. So anyway, so Heidi's doing Finish It or Frog It. And I thought that was another one that sounded really, really cool, like something that I need to support. Okay. And then, of course, Pen, Hook, and Needles are doing their Tea and Tales. I pretty much, autism awareness is still going on. We have a little bit of time for that through the end of June. And then Sparkle Like the Star You Are also fits into that. So I think you're going to be really happy with what I have chosen to be my craft along, I guess. That's, the best way I can say it, because there's so many things out there. So, okay. Everybody knows, and I've been trying to work this out, and I finally have gotten it worked out. I already have prizes that have been donated to make this happen. So I'm really excited, and I'm going to show you those prizes in a little bit, and I'm going to add, find some other things too. So I hope you're pleased. And I pretty much know my friends, and I know the things that they like. So I think this is going to be a winner all the way around. All right. So I wanted something that was especially me, but works with my podcast friends so that you can double dip, triple dip, whatever. So there is nothing that makes me happier than Mickey Mouse and going to our timeshare at Disney World. So if you've watched any of my former podcasts and things, sometimes I'm there or going or coming back from, or, doing things with my grandchildren there. And that is the happiest place on earth for me. And I hope that you will enjoy this. So this is running from now until November 18th, which is Mickey's official birthday. So we have lots of time. And what I decided to say is that to go along with the other people's alongs is, it could be kits, patterns, names of yarn, projects, anything that has to do with characters, movies, resorts, like anything that has to do with any of the parks or the resorts that are around the, Walt Disney World. So what my idea is, I wanted something that was all encompassing, that was happy colors, that, so you can also use these towards one of the other alongs. So if you're working on autism, just where isn't there happy colors at Disney World or with any of the characters or whatever. So I tried to give you full reign, and all I need you to do is, if you're knitting something, and I did look up some patterns. I have a couple of pattern suggestions already. There's tons of crochet patterns because of all the little amagurumis that you can crochet. So that's crocheting an animal or something is easy because they're there in Ravelry. But I did find some really neat patterns that I found for you. And so let's see, as far as yarn names, I actually have some of my yarns that I have been working towards this. So there are a few of my yarns that I have, may not be posted exactly yet, but I'm getting there. But I have some things that'll work for the theme. Like I said, kits. I wasn't exactly sure how to do this, but I guess, maybe somebody has, I know there's work cross stitch kits that Disney had at one time. And I know that, there might be a knitting item. So that takes care of those. So basically, I just want you to somehow, and it's up to you to do it, to tie what you're working on to a Disney character or a movie or a resort or whatever. So you've got a broad spectrum that you can make this work. So get started. So let's see. I'm going to first tell you, I found these patterns. So these are the first two that really caught my eye that I thought were pretty neat. There is, and she doesn't have her name on the top of this. Hang on, let me see if it's on the next page. Oh no. All right, I don't see her name here. Anyway, do a Ravelry search. And she has an infinity scarf. Gosh, I really wish I knew her name, but I don't. I apologize. I'll try and type it in here, but chances are I'm not going to have time. But anyway, please look up on Ravelry. My Favorite Things Infinity Scarf. She did this infinity scarf, and it's got, you can do it in sort of like your thread work if you want. And you can make it very simple. And so she has rows that she's done using maybe scrap yarns and things like that. But like if you could find a counted cross-stitch kind of pattern motif, she calls them motifs here. She's got some motifs to get you started, but they're not Disney motifs. But I know they're out there that you can find a simple Disney characters or something, or like, she does have an elephant, so I suppose you could consider that Dumbo. But, you could do this, you do this scarf, and you just keep on repeating these motifs, and check out the pattern. You'll know what I'm talking about, because right now it sounds like I don't know what I'm talking about. And I just thought it was really cool. It's a way to incorporate if you're crazy about, Mickey Mouse and different things like that, it's a good way for you to incorporate them in something that maybe you'll wear. So, okay, or your grandchildren or children, whatever. The other thing that I thought, this is really cool, and I do not know if it's going to come out on the screen. Oh, and both of these are free patterns, so they don't cost anything. So that's another plus. But someone came up with, I don't know if it's going to come out. I'm going to try and stay back here. It is a pillow It doesn't. It's not. If you can somehow see it, it says Moana. And it is a Disney throw pillow. And so what they did, and this I think you will be able to see, they knitted it with the word Moana across the middle, and the pillow itself is done in shades of blue like it's the water. And I thought this really looks cool, and I need pillows for my couch. So I'm not promising anything, but this would be something that would really fit in with me. And let's face it, you could try and find something else, and instead of doing Moana, you could maybe do, I don't know, Dory or whatever. So I think you got some ideas with this. So this is called the Disney Throw Pillow, and it is by Elizabeth Hope. And that's Elizabeth with an S, Elisabeth, Hope, Hope. So that's a couple of patterns that I found pretty quickly by doing a search. I want to say I did a search about Disney patterns. I think that was as simple as I got, and these popped up. So go check those out. And so let me get my stuff here. I am going to give a huge shout out to the ladies at 3 by the Sea. It is a mom and her daughters, and the way that I found them was on Instagram. I saw one of their feeds and saw that they had something. I want to say it was a Mickey related thing. And I reached out to them and told them, who I was, and that I really liked, I was really excited to see somebody that obviously loved Mickey Mouse and Disney World as much as I do. And they actually live in Florida, so they're much closer and they can go whenever they want. But we got to talking back and forth. We did a trade, and she was kind enough to also include a bag for my podcast. So this is going to be our grand prize, is this bag, and I'm not going to take it out because it's beautifully wrapped, but I think you can see Mickey all over the bag. It has a nice handle here. It has a beautiful little stitch marker up there with the polka dots, like his pants. It is beautiful. And I did a trade because I had seen some of their stitch markers. And I think Mom is the one that makes, Dreama is her name. Can you imagine? Her name is Dreama, like Dreama. Oh my gosh, I went crazy. Because I thought, how great is that? And then I know one of her daughters is Beth, and I'm drawing a blank on the other daughter's name, but I'm sorry. Anyway, but they sent this package. I got one too. I mean, it was great. So what I ordered from them originally was she had some stitch markers that Laura Concert, I know you like Disney as much as I do. She has these stitch markers that were, it was like park hopper. She called them park hopper. And, so there's little stitch markers that represent each of the parks, and then some other stitch markers also to go along with it. And it's on like this special ring, and she even has, like the plastic that is Mickey and Minnie, almost like a magnet like they have at Disney. I'm talking to Laura right now. Anyway, that was what I traded some yarn for. And so it is, I don't even know if I don't have, here, let me see, maybe I have it here. I don't know if I have it here because I think I might have put it in a bag already. Yeah, I think I put it in my bag. Oh, let me see. Nope, it must be in my bag. Oh. Anyway, next podcast, I promise I'm going to show you. It was just incredible. So anyway, in addition to the bag, she sent me and my viewers some of their other lovely stitch markers that are fantastic. Okay, so let me pull mine out. And so I think I'm going to make these like secondary prizes so that, you know, more people get the goodies. And all right, so okay, look at these. Look at those. Aren't they cool? I don't know where she finds these. I have tried to find stuff like this. I couldn't find them. And so you've got the Mickey and Minnie here. And then, let's see. Oh, here, she got these. She's got different ones for me than she does you. So I'm going to make sure I get the right ones here. Oh, so, oh, those were mine. I'm sorry. But you guys have one of these. Look at that. Isn't it gorgeous? And it's like a 3D thing. Isn't it great? I'm so excited. Ah! Okay, I'm going to put mine over here so I don't mix these up. And then because they're in Florida, who doesn't love flamingos? There's a pink flamingo and a hot pink flamingo. I mean, if that doesn't say Florida, I don't know what does. And then, because we were going to do autism awareness, which I might pull this and do this for next year. Hold it for next year, because we still have until June, so maybe this will be a prize for one of the months. But look at, I know I'm not taking them out. You probably should. Okay, so you got an autism awareness, like the ribbon there, and the puzzle piece. Aren't those gorgeous? This is one of her daughters does these. And so when I had proposed a trade, she had to check with her daughters, because the item that I wanted to trade was actually not made by her. It was made by one of the daughters. And so that's what we did. So anyway, and I know, I was just thinking I'm going to go on and get some more of her things, because I just think they're fantastic. Okay, here we have, I'll take it out. Look at those. Oops, it's not coming out. Okay, one is silver and one is gold. So it looks like, I think they're both Minnie Mouse, because they have, it looks like some little crystals there in her bow. Oh, there, maybe I got it to where it's showing a little bit. Okay, so anyway, it is 3 by the Sea, and here's their business card. Oh, and there's their names on the back. Yay! Okay, so it's 3 by the Sea. This is Dreama, Rebecca, and Kim. And I don't know where I got Beth from. I'm sorry, ladies. I don't know where Beth came from in that mix, but I thought it was a Beth. Anyway, so they have an Etsy shop that is 3 by the Sea Designs. They are 3 by the Sea Designs at gmail.com, and 3 by the Sea Designs, I believe that's Instagram. And they have project bags, stitch markers, handmade in sunny Florida, right near Mickey Mouse. So, all right. If you see this, give them some love. Their stuff is absolutely exquisite. The sewing, it is perfection. So, Dreama, I love your bags. They are just absolutely wonderful. And girls, your stitch markers, I just can't tell you how happy I am. So those are the prizes for our I Love Mickey, and I've called it a craft along. So that's what we're going to do. That's going to be my thing, and I honestly think I'm going to repeat that like every year, because that's something that really describes me. And I think that's what everybody has come up with, these alongs and things, and there's so many out there, but I wanted to give you something that you can use, that you can double dip in everything and everybody else's, so you could participate and have some fun. So don't forget to check out a Crocheting Hoovian podcast, Diary of a Physicist Farm Gal, and that is Deborah's podcast. Heidi from Undead Yarns, her podcast, and then Pen, Hook, and Needles, their podcast. And I watch a few others, but they're the ones that I went in and really searched to make sure my theme went along with theirs. So there's probably plenty of others out there, and feel free to shoot me a message or something if you can think of another podcast that kind of fits in with this. That would be great to know. And if anybody out there has a skein of yarn that they would like to maybe destash or something, send it on in and we can make it one of the monthly prizes. I'd like to kind of keep that going if I have the yarn to do it. And I mean, I certainly have some of my own that I can put in, so that's not a problem. But if I could get like another 3 or 4 skeins, that would be really nice, because then maybe I can give a skein away every month. And that would make me happy. And I think it would make you happy too. So, all right. Brian is not home from work yet, which he was supposed to be home early today. Anyway, I went to the Carolina Fiber Retreats, to the retreat, and I had a really good time. It was nice to meet the different people and things, and I had my booth set up, and that was very nice. I sold a ton of potholder loops and looms, and it was really fun to see the people who hadn't done a potholder since they were a kid and were just having fun pulling their colors and making a potholder, and there were just lots of smiles and things. It was really nice. Anyway, and I taught my felting class, and I'm hoping to get a separate video of that. I'm going to, not of the class, but of the process, because I would like to be able to show it to future, if I'm going to a future retreat or something like that, I'd like to be able to show what it's all about on a small scale. So I had 2 cousins who, Pam and Elaine. Hi, I know Pam, you joined. I saw you subscribe, so I hope you get to see this. She and her cousin Elaine were there, and they laid out this beautiful scarf, all of the fiber and things. We had a little a hard time because there were classes that they wanted to take and classes that I wanted to take, and so we actually didn't even get to do my class until Saturday night before checking out on Sunday. So I'm hoping not to do that again, because that was like really chaotic, and Brian packed the booth up by himself. He did a very nice job, except all of my yarns that I tagged, I put fresh tags on them, to present them as the best way I could. And he managed to booger up most of them, and I got to redo them again. So him packing, he tried his best, and I love him for it, but my yarn that I had go around the country with Jean took it to at least 15 shows, and the tags came back not looking as bad as Brian's that he put in the bags. So we used air bags, and we were compressing the air out, and I think that's what happened when he was getting the air out. But anyway, I love him for trying. So that was really nice. The location was perfect. The owner of the Big Lynn Lodge, Hoyt, and his assistant, Michelle, they were just, you couldn't ask for nicer people. So it was just really nice. In fact, Brian and I went 2 nights early. So we got to visit with Hoyt and Michelle before everybody came for the retreat. So it was really nice. So it's definitely one that I would consider. It's reasonable, and there were just a lot of nice people. And so if that's something that interests you, I know they only have a few spots available in the upcoming fall retreats. The first one I know is, it starts on Halloween, October 31st, and it goes to, I want to say it would be the 3rd or 4th. Anyway, then the next retreat is 2 weeks later. So that one I know is more full, because that'll be like the holiday, decorated for the holidays and things. So anyway, but if that's something that interests you, go to Carolina Fiber Retreats and Tours. I think that's what it's called, Carolina Fiber Retreats and Tours. For any of you that are in the North Carolina area or South Carolina, Tennessee, just, those places right around that area, Becky is her name, Becky Witt. And she has also has access to a coach, and she is also taking people that are interested to Atlanta for one of the Stitches conventions, and she's also going to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. So if you've always wanted to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool and you want somebody else to do the driving, it's a good way for you to be able to go. So and I'm sure it would be a riot on the bus. So anyway, all right, well, I gotta go because I've got to finish packing, and I wanted to just touch base with you. I'm going to try and see if I can do a podcast for my moms and tell you some of the other things I didn't get to talk to you about, because we went to a folk art, I don't know why my mind is gone, in Asheville. We went to Asheville, North Carolina, and we went to the Folk Art Museum, and it's part of the National Park Services. I wanted to tell you some things about that. We just really had a great time. So I'm going to sign off now. I will fill in the gaps on the next podcast, I promise. So until then, don't forget to send me your name and address. You winners, I need your name, address, and where to send these to you, and I'll get those out as soon as I can. Mwah! Okay, thanks. Love you guys. Bye.